This is what I'm calling the Annoy bot. This is Trevor, and I am going to show the final demonstration of what it does. So if I plug it in, the main thing it does is you can see in the inside of it, you can press it and the switch kind of presses back. So you can wrestle with it, you can just hit it and it goes back. It tries to put the switch back in the original position. Works pretty well. It's a little noisy, so I'm gonna unplug that portion. The next function is if I flick the eye, you'll see the eyes blink angrily. Very upset that I did that. And it works for both eyes. And then if I tip it over, it screams. But yeah, I'll show you the other eye too. There you go. So yeah, each eye has a vibration sensor behind it, and then this is just a tilt ball sensor. So the way that all this works, so let's start with the switch. So it's just a servo and a switch super glued together and put in a box. Essentially, it changes by using PWM functions of a 555 timer. And then I hooked it up with some potentiometers and some resistors so that two different voltages cause two different servo motor locations. So you can see right here, changes right there. Sorry, there we go. But yeah, those change the servo motor location. So whenever you push it, it changes it to a location that's past the switch. So it ends up turning it off, which changes it back to its original position. Pretty nifty. And then there's two of them because one of them is for the frequency. And then for these blinking LEDs, you can see behind it, I just have these two LEDs soldered on, and as well as two vibration sensors. And these are connected to another, so since it blinks, I wanted to essentially trigger a monostable pulse. So the left 555 timer here is what the vibration sensor triggers. And so whenever you flick it, it causes a falling edge, and it'll essentially activate the a pulse that will activate a MOSFET that lets a frequency through, and that's the second 555 timer, which is using so that the left one is monostable, the right one is astable, and it just is an astable frequency pulsing set at some kind of blinking frequency. So it lets it through for a good amount of time. And then this last thing, this buzzer, so you can see it's just a piezo buzzer, and it feeds through into another essentially MOSFET that is activated by this tilt ball sensor. So whenever it's tilted, it connects the two pins. And then using the frequency I used for the PWM, I actually use that same frequency to make that annoying buzzing and screaming. But yeah, that's all the functions. I guess the only things that differed from my abstract were I used multiple LEDs because I thought it would be funny if it had eyes and it blinked. And yeah, two vibration sensors. And I think it just added because you can like flick each eye and it'll respond. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's my project.